Hey, how are you? I'm SliceofOtaku, and today we're here to talk about leaks. Now, I guess the term leak in this case could be debatable, but regardless, I just want everyone to know that this information contains spoilers, so view at your own discretion. Now, as for a bit of background, this happens to be a sort of merchandising leak from the New York City Toy Fair. And a massive shout out to the couple that both went there and brought this to my attention. Both of them are talented artists you can find over on Tumblr at Ellis Illustrations and Bora Art, and the B in Bora is an 8. Hopefully I did not, butcher that pronunciation, but yeah. Thank you to the two of you and keep doing it big in New York. Links to them will be in the description. Now, let's get on to the nitty gritty. So here is everything in a single shot, and immediately you have probably noticed that there are a few character outfits we've yet to see in the show just yet, which is of course what makes this leak so fascinating because, beyond that, they're just key rings. Now, the ones that are bound to get the most attention are certainly the past gem variations, so we're here to handle them first. Now, at this point, when it comes to the remainder of Season 5, we kind of already know pretty much all of the major plot points that are coming our way. We know that Steven is going to encounter Lapis, that the truth about Pink Diamond shattering will be unveiled, and also that we will be receiving a Rose and Pearl based flashback, which brings us here. And aside from the atrocity that is Pearl's past attire, we also have that of Rose Quartz and Garnet respectively. Now, Rose's attire, despite being a past outfit, was labeled otherwise. It is referred to as Rose Quartz Amethyst Soldier version, which is pretty weird, but certainly must have some degree of sense to it. My thinking right now is that amethyst gems were to be the primary makeup of Pink Diamond's military force, which we've seen be the case when it comes to Jaspers and Carnelians, as they are beta gems created due to desperation. But that's the thing. Rose Quartz was the one to create that desperation with her rebellion. And so if this is her homeworld attire, then her situation cannot be a one-to-one with beta gems. There is certainly more to this. Maybe Rose Quartz gems were a sort of upgrade from amethyst soldiers, and were being vetted for what was intended to be their new roles, because remember, Rose Quartz gems were exclusively owned by Pink Diamond, as Blue Diamond heralded them to be Pink Diamond's creation. And yes, Rose once told Greg that gems know what they are supposed to be upon creation, but I find that that's not necessarily the truth, as Amethyst, being separated from the homeworld lifestyle entirely, had no clue what her purpose was, nor did she know what other amethysts would inherently be like. So yeah, maybe this was the testing phase, because as great as the Famethyst is, they don't really come across as the best soldiers possible. But we'll of course just have to wait and see. And next up, when it comes to Pearl's outfit, there's bound to be a lot of talk, a lot of diamond-centric talk, because of course, Pearl here exhibits all of the diamond's colors and then some with the whole green thing going on. Now, I know that because this is a miniature version, we don't really have a detailed look on our hands, but I'm sorry, this outfit is just shameful, as if being a decorated slave wasn't bad enough. Now theory-wise, I'm honestly kind of over theorizing who Pearl belonged to, because it just feels like we're chasing our own tails at this point. And I know I've theorized that Pearl is a rainbow Pearl, but I never wanted it like this. I never wanted barf sleeves and shoes to match, but once again, I'm just hoping that it looks better in its full glory when we actually see it on screen. Now, I've seen people speculate that Pearl served all of the diamonds when they were a sort of fusion themselves, and that this is a reflection of this, but I have to disagree. These past designs are set to come together, and prior to her claim on Earth, Pink Diamond had no military force, and amethysts were made on Earth. And the same is said to be the case for Rose Quartz gems as well, and even if she isn't, her attire here is labeled as Amethyst Soldier version, so Amethyst must be in play at this current point in time. And I suppose you could bring up the fact that no Pearl was present when we saw Yellow and Pink Diamond together, which could mean that Pearl was with another diamond at the time. But we see a picture of Yellow Diamond with Yellow Pearl within the Moonbase's logs, which has to have occurred back when the planet was of importance and required her attention, which seems to only persist during the acquisition phase, so Yellow Pearl existed at the same time as our Pearl. And I mean, I could seriously sit here for ages coming up with dozens of possibilities in the off chance that one is actually the case, but like I said earlier, that's just exhausting at this point. As for the last past gem, unless you consider pink diamond, we have past garnet. Now, past garnet serves to be a sort of anomaly here. First off, in terms of design, it seems to mostly be a color change up. But I mean, I'm not all that good at noticing garnet's minuscule changes to begin with, so yeah. But what makes the inclusion of this version a bit of an oddity is that this form is different from the first encounter Garnet has with Rose and Pearl in the answer, wherein she is more of a cotton candy-like fusion. And for such a drastic change to happen, she must have been poofed, and the most likely cause of a gem being poofed at this particular time would have been the Gem War. So certainly, this quote-unquote past Garnet is the closest design to the present out of the three. So if anything, it seems like this arc may ascend further in time, chronologically, and possibly even encapsulate some of the war. But now, let me ask you, who's providing this flashback? Rose is no longer in commission, Garnet's existence is too young to have seen Rose in such attire, and if this has anything to do with the diamonds, Pearl won't be telling us anything. And of course, it's quite possible that this has nothing to do with the diamonds, as the crew have stated within the official Steven Universe Art and Origins book that they don't like to provide too many valuable plot-related information bits in one go. So when it comes to things like this, I try to keep my excitement levels, a little low. And maybe the orb Lapis utilized to observe Peridot and the crystal gems in her leak would have been able to project images of the past. But if that's the case, why would Lapis need to be embedded in a mirror to figure out the location of the rebels? Honestly, right now, I feel like this is bait, and that theorizing Pearl's diamond involvement based on this is premature, predictable, and exactly what they want us to think, as always. I think that this flashback will be able to come from Garnet, Pearl, or the two of them, and that Pearl and Rose go incognito during the war as Homeworld gems, because it's pretty clear that Homeworld had no way of telling friend from foe, which is why no rose quartz gems were allowed near pink diamond at the time altogether, and also why all of the rose quartz gems were eventually bubbled, so that they could play it safe. But anyways, finally moving on beyond the past versions, we have 3 diamonds. And to my knowledge, this is the first time the diamonds have been included in official merchandising. But again, seriously, key rings? Like on pretty much every other video, because I approach the contents of this show, which happens to be created by a professional crew with a degree of deductive reasoning and or intelligence, people feel the need to remind me that it's a children's show. But in this case, I wish their marketing would remember that, because although I'm sure that many of my friends that like Steven Universe are going to want all of these things, they're adults and they have use for key rings, and gobble up any Steven Universe merchandise they can get their hands on, because rarely do we ever get anything. I mean, me personally, I don't care for this stuff, and I would have liked to see the diamonds receive merch on a more grand scale, I suppose, but I'm one person, it doesn't really matter if I like it or not. But I am curious about you guys. Are you planning on buying any of these? And if so, which ones? And how many of you plan on collecting them all? But yeah, nothing too interesting about the diamonds here. Yellow Diamond looks like a Simpsons character, and we get our first look at Pink Diamond's feet, which, had they shown this part sooner, could have been a dead giveaway as to her childish nature. Now lastly, to end it all off with what might just be my favorite part of all of this, we have Wedding Outfit Sapphire and Wedding Outfit Ruby. I mean, wow. For everyone who felt as though Garnet was missing something, that she needed some new developments for herself, this could be it. I mean, it's honestly difficult for me to put into words just how monumental this is. Steven Universe, despite its faults and what some may deem to be plot-related shortcomings, when it comes to things like this, is something that the crew excels at, and is exactly what separates Steven Universe from the majority of content within its medium. This sort of representation is what makes Steven Universe a class act deserving of both praise and accolades. For ages, the Crystal Gems fought against oppression and the right to live life on their terms, to be truly happy, and here we have a precedent in the making. Something that could have never happened without immense sacrifice and hope surrounding their cause. The first gem marriage, which I consider could be a parallel to the legalization of gay marriage in the United States. And when it comes to something as significant as that, I have absolutely no doubt that the crew could do a phenomenal job. Not that they could, they will do a phenomenal job. So if there is an episode like this on the horizon, I'm ready to mark my calendar. And the topic of marriage within the show was mentioned a bit within the episode Gem Harvest, in which we learn that Greg and Rose never actually got married, and that the gems don't quite understand the concept of marriage. And here, Steven also has a tuxedo form listed, which we've seen before, but never with a corsage, so maybe he properly introduces the concept of marriage to the gems, resulting in a great episode that better not be called filler when it comes out. I mean, right now, next to the potential of this, the only diamond I'm trying to hear about better be on a ring. This is cool. I mean, I really like this. I mean, just look at Ruby. How can you not be excited? I honestly wish that this alone was the leak because we need more attention on this. But that about wraps it up for this showcase of leaks. Let me know what you think about all of them, and can someone please explain to me why some of them have noses and others don't? Is that like Steven's style or something? I don't know. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.